Okay, everyone, good evening. I had a little bit of trouble getting set up here. All right, I'm pretty sure the music is going. If I'm not mistaken, yes, it is. Okay, so we're turning that down, getting started over here. Cirilla's already up. Let's take off that brand banner. Yeah, I was actually scheduled to do this pretty early, and then all of a sudden, let's not get my air conditioner in there. But then, yeah, I got excuse me, started a bit late. We are live, right? It looks like we are. And yet, like, everything seems to not be caught up. A very long intro there. Anyway, yeah. So this morning, yeah, I dropped my Chadhiyana announcement trailer for the A Kid in the Comic um, appearance of Chadhiyana. She will be there for the remainder of the season one run, which is 3 more issues, and then she'll be going into what is called season two, which is the next 7 issues that happen after these first this first season's done. All right. And make sure my mic's up enough. Yeah, I should have been more prepared for this. Let's see, bringing this a little closer so maybe people can hear me better. I don't know. Anyway, yeah. So all good things. And I still have other announcements to make this year, but the Chadhiyana one was one of the biggest ones. Having her in a regular publication while trying to get these other issues out sounds really good. My letterer, of course, Mindy Lopkin, is on board for that, so that all sounds good. As far as what I'm drawing today, I don't know because I just finished that page. Actually, you know what? I could show off the page first. Let me just go get it on the scanner back there, and then as soon as Cyrilla gives me a second, since she's going to be dancing up here anyway, I might as well, right? All right, let's flip this on. Get over to the drawing board, right? Let's do proper layout. Yeah, we got it this time. How about that, really? I did it right. You, you, my little munchkin. Okay. Well, it's flipped over. Sorry. There we go. So yeah, that was the page that I just finished this week. It was a little over deadline. I wanted to get it done last week, and that didn't quite happen. So, and if you saw the trailer that dropped today, yeah, I did, which I actually had to re-upload. I re-uploaded it not on my socials, but I found for some reason my spell correct on my phone put an E in between the 2 L's in installment. So yeah, I had to take that off. So I re-uploaded a new one on YouTube. So if you already saw it or liked it, just rewatch it. It should be at the top of my channel now, the new version. It's already gotten some views. Actually, yeah, the response to that trailer was pretty good. But yeah, I just mostly edited it on my phone. Threw it up with the whatchamacallit, threw it together with CapCut, and then music I downloaded from places like Upbeat and Pixabay. And what else? Yeah, it was all just using the images on one page. I was able to put almost a 2-minute trailer together, a minute and a half, 2 minutes. So yeah, there she is, all ready to go for A Kid and a Comic starting next month. And yeah, I'll just mention that. Yeah, of course, if you subscribe to my newsletter, I'm going to be dropping a code. You can also support me on Patreon. Now I sound like a real YouTuber. Because yeah, I will give that code to people. What it'll do, actually, I just had the conversation with the publisher today. What it will do is you'll get 2 back issues. If you want any missing back issues, I might have some that I can still, you can still purchase from me, but you'll get 2 free back issues and This will be printed as an exclusive, and it'll have a seal on it from a kid in the comic. It'll have an official stamp. So you'll get that artwork as an exclusive print using the code that my Patreons or newsletter subscribers will get. So you can always go over to my, what is that? My link tree in my profile. Hey, Tim, I didn't think I'd be seeing you on my live stream. That's cool. Thank you for stopping by. This is the damn cat that never lets me get my work done, right, Sorella? I love her though, but she's a PETA. She doesn't let me get my my stream going until we're about anywhere from 5 to almost 15 minutes into the live stream. That's when she'll finally calm down. But yeah. Tim, for anybody else watching, is the writer and artist for Sour Grapes, which is a hilarious comic strip. I think it's better than when I was doing Gentleman Cthulhu, although people liked it. Yeah, Sour Grapes is good. You should check it out. Check out Tim Jones. Syndicated in papers around the country, newspapers around the country, not just a kid in the comic, which, Sour Grapes is also in. So yeah, I'm behind on a lot of work here, trying to get that Chadhiyana comic in. Still have a variant cover I gotta get done, some designs to get done. Gonna figure out, I should say, what I want to work on tonight. Oh man, Sorella, I'm never gonna be able to figure it out with you just going at me for attention. Anyway, we gotta wait till she's done. We could look at Chadhiyana again a little bit more. Well, while Sorella's just sitting there, yeah. Again, that'll be coming out in February. And although I've outlined the whole story, I haven't written all of the scripts yet. I'm getting a full page for issues 5, 6, and 7 of whatchamacallit, A Kid in the Comic for the first season. But season 2, that I'm not sure if I'll have a full or a half page. It depends on who's able to participate in the paper for next year or for the next season of 7. Which I will say this, as much as it's nice to have a full page, of course I want A Kid in a Comic to have more creators in it, so it seems strange to think this way, but I hope I only have half a page for next season, but I'll make it work. It works out that I got a full page for the first season, because with only 3 comics or 3 issues, I gotta wrap this the spider thread up quick. No pun intended there. Or hey Sorella, are you gonna let them watch me draw something? So yeah, I'll be probably starting tomorrow. I'll be working on the scripts for the second and third issue of this first part, and then getting those pages done so that there's no delay for them. Come on, lady. Just lay down. Just lay down. Let the people have what they want. Let them see me draw. I think she's done. Anyway, there are a whole bunch of things that I wanted to finish for Valentine's Day, which I didn't get to do, so maybe, oh my God. Speaking of love. Cat's just right back up. I think I'm going to have to draw around you, lady. I think that's what it's going to have to be. Because you're just not going to let me. I had t-shirt designs I wanted to put up on my Redbubble. Had some stuff I wanted to put up, get printed as cards for my Redbubble and Etsy. Let's stop moving that. Anyway, yeah, but I have an online market this weekend. Oh, lady, please let me do some work. She's kind of this bad during the workday too. It depends on the day, though. But yeah, cat ears right in the camera. It never gets old for you, does it? Oh, I put it. You just keep it going. At some point, I'm going to stop using these StreamYard songs too and get more songs. But I only have limited downloads on Upbeat. I will find a good song for my live stream videos. Probably not as epic as the trailer video song, but you know. Well, now that I have a license for that, I guess I could use it sometimes. Gonna let this happen? You gonna let me work? Or is it just gonna be a live stream of me talking to air and you sitting here just taking up space? Can everyone hear me, by the way? That's a good question, because I don't know. I actually don't know if anybody's actually hearing this. Let's see. Oh, this is going to kill. Hang on. Oh, hang on. Okay. Yeah, it's working. Once I heard that, I don't know. Sometimes the setup for this was a little weird. This at the beginning, I think I popped into the stream for a second before I was ready. Oh, whoops! Live viewer comments will show up. This is an example. Tap on a comment to show it. Didn't mean to hit that one. Anyway. Oh, really? Really, please let them watch. Order my my book on Amazon. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. Cirilla's in the studio and won't leave me alone. My website, my Patreon, my publisher. Here's my Patreon supporters. I'm just trying to keep something moving in the look. Lady, we're at 16 minutes. You're killing the show. No one's here to watch me pet you. Oh, big yawn. She looks like a vampire when she does that because her eyes just stay open. It's like she's afraid to close them when she yawns. Nobody's hissing at you. It's just my seltzer opening up. Oh my God. You're too much, lady. Anyway, for anybody that is watching, what did you think of the trailer today? Did you see the trailer? I know Tim did. Oh, we got 3 viewers, maybe more on what is that thing? YouTube. The version with the misspelling in it. That one had 67 views before I took it down. Oh, wow. How come it just went up on Facebook that I'm live? Can't have been, though, because Tim's here on Facebook. All right, we gonna set? Yeah. This cat's killing me. Can't even see her. She's so low right now. Oh, really? Please. Please let me get some of the work done. The people are here for the drawing. That's what they're here for. To watch me draw things. Probably. Oh, yeah. Is she going to go under? Oh, she's moving away, finally. Thanks, Rill. How many do I have now, Rob? So that's a funny thing. It's a little bit Patreon now counts my followers as well as my paid members. So I'm not looking at everything. Right now it's 20 people, but I really would like to get into triple digits. I think that would be nice. Not saying anybody that's on there right now has to stay forever, but because I know people come and go. But it would be nice to have like a pretty solid 100 with people coming in and out. By the way, go and like the trailer again, Rob, because I had to re-upload it. I spelt installment wrong. My phone autocorrect didn't catch it. It had an E. You can still see it on the socials. It's still there with the misspelling, but I wasn't going to have it live on YouTube forever with a misspelling on it. So I fixed it, threw it in. And I think there's somewhere in the credits where there's still like a space missing. I don't care. I'm not redoing it there, but whatever. Hopping off. Good. All right. She's gone. Yeah. So what did I say? Like 20 Patreon supporters. Got to get that number up. Well, I picked up a bunch last year, but now, you know what? And I haven't forgotten about it either. I still got to get the Patreon lore book finished up. And in the past year, since my graphic design skills have gotten better, I think I have a slightly updated version of it that I want to do. So if you didn't see today, Andrew, I posted a trailer to my social medias. That's for the A Kid in a Comic. Let me get issue 1. Hang on. Camera for a second. So yeah. Hi, Mike. How you doing? Yeah. So I'm gonna have 3 issues. Oh, okay. So this says number 1, and it's June, July. So whatchamacallit, this is going to be done in seasons. There's always 7 in each season. So we're up to number 4 already. 5, 6, 7 are going to follow the spider story, Andrew. And then there's going to be another story for the next 7 issues of A Kid in a Comic. So yeah, just giving you a preview of this. I was already, and am still, getting The Beast published. You guys are here to see me draw and play with my comics. Okay. There's already getting The Beast published with great artwork by Len Danovich. But I don't even know the whole story. But apparently in this middle section, which is all the spooky, not quite horror, but suspense stuff, there are 2 openings. So the publisher asked me to fill in, and I pitched him Chadhiyana, and he said, Yeah, let's do it. And apparently, John Canacri is very excited about it. This is already lettered by MD Lopkin and going in for the February issue. So Frank, yeah, Frank. Oh my God, I'm reading the middle. Andrew, sorry, Andrew. So Andrew, yeah, like if you go to a kidinthecomic.com, right? And I'll just throw it in the comments for a second. I gotta move this. Right, if you go to a kidinthecomic.com, you can pick up a subscription to it. And I actually have some issues still of the first 4, right? But if you go to my link tree, right, in my profiles, you can get you can sign up for my mailing list, and you'll get a code, which will get you 2 free back issues and actually an exclusive print version of this with a Kid in the Comic stamp seal on it. I will not be releasing a print of that. Do I have a copy? Yeah, I just showed it to him. Why would I had a copy of one, and I just threw it off to the side. Yeah, see, you bouncing out in and out of the stream, Tim. I caught you now. So everybody that is tuning in here that doesn't know Tim, this is Tim's comic, Sour Grapes. Giving you. What happened? Why did that switch? Oh, you weren't looking. I see, because you were drawing at the same time when you pulling on Mike Gracia. That's what Mike tells me he does. Yeah. So yeah, I do have a copy handy. Chris Ring over here too with his Alan Quartermain strip. Oh, a lot of people. There's Sam Vera with his "There's an Alien in My Toilet." A lot of people. Yeah, so yeah, I have a copy handy. I try to. It's what you're doing right now. Oh, how about that? Just sneaky Mike, just sitting in the background, quietly listening to this. Quietly listening to me do nothing, because I don't even think I've touched a single material to a piece of paper yet, and we're 25 minutes into this live stream. But yeah, Michael. Well, yeah, I mean, you could say Michael, couldn't you? Well, I do say Michael Gracia, don't I? Now I'm very self-conscious. I don't know if I call Mike or Michael. I think I call him Mike talking to him. But I don't know if I've ever asked you if you actually prefer that. Oh well. At least Cirilla's sitting here in her chair. She gets the comfortable one. Why are you glaring at me? We doing this now? Are you gonna leave me alone? All right. Let's do some inking. I might have said this in a previous live stream, but I did notice this year, just because of stuff like this Chadhiyana, plus the next issue that I have to finish up issue 3 and put it out. I understand. But the next issue, all the artwork's done for that one. The next issue that but I don't go nuts if you do prefer Michael, but I don't go nuts if I'm called Michael. Wait, that's very confusing. If you're called Mike, you mean? I've known so many Mikes, but I can defer to Michael. That's easier. Michael. Whenever I refer to you, it's Michael Gracia. But I guess it's like the same thing with me, right? Like, Although some people have known me so long as JM. Oh my God. Oh, that reminds me. I mean, if you're called Mike, okay. I'll try to remember Michael. It's a force of habit. I grew up with, I think, like 4 Mikes. Yeah, imagine that. And then you started having to refer to them by their last names. Now it seems like it's shifted. In my adult life, I know like every Chris that walks the face of the earth. So I don't even say it for clout, but that's why if I'm talking about like Chris Mad or Chris Campana or Chris Buckner, who hasn't been around in the comic scene in a while, I always have to use the full name because nobody's going to know what Chris I'm referring to. But I know I left somebody out there. I'm sorry. Christian, though, I refer to as Christian. Actually, there's 2 Christians, too, aren't there? A Lewis and DiMatteo. Might be a 3rd. All right, yeah. Oh, speaking of names. Oh, this is hilarious. Maybe you guys will like this. Because we're talking about names. Oh, and some people forget my name. Oh my God, and I swear I'm not calling anybody out for this. But some people don't remember that the J stands for Jeff, not Jay, not Jim. I was talking about it with some people back in November at like one of the horror shows, but I ordered myself a shirt that just gets a little bit ridiculous. I forgot something on it. I might have to do a new one. Because I do like people to know that I'm not related to Ron DeSantis. But also, people sometimes confuse me with JM DeMattis. And I should have worked that in here somewhere. It just got really silly as I went on, just to, this was the main part that I was going to start with. But I'll do a new one. It looks and feels very comfortable. I think I ordered it through Printful because they'll do like a one-off. And it looks like it's printed nice in there. It turned out better than I thought it was going to be. But I'll post it with myself in it. I might wear this to conventions occasionally. Just because sometimes I don't even think people remember who I am. I'm not talking about you guys in the stream right now, but there are people that I think I come by their table and they don't quite remember who I am, even by JM DeSantis, right? And then, yeah, I get people that think the J is for Jim. I think it's just like an auto thing. Your mind just registers. Stood for Just Marvelous. Just Marvelous DeSantis. It sounds like a wrestling name, but like, an 80s wrestler. Maybe 90s, yeah, but Just Marvelous DeSantis. That would be funny. I'm trying to figure out where to start. This cat discombobulated me for a moment there. All right. Just Marvelous. That's good, Tim. I think I should change it legally to Just Marvelous DeSantis. One of my scrap papers for inking. Actually, it's not as necessary on a regular inked page because I don't have to worry about the oils. But when it's watercolor paper, I want to make sure the oils of my hands don't get into it. And somebody was asking me about this very recently. Who the hell was that? Was asking me about watercolor paper. It was at this past convention. It was at Garden State Comic Fest. Winter edition. Oh, I can't remember. But yeah, there you go. Fluid watercolor paper blocks. I don't know what is going on there. Oh, that's not for a show. This is like copies to bring, I think. Anyway, yeah. And I think Blix is very good too. I finally tried theirs out. Good old Richard Blick. I don't know if I'll get a strike. Actually, speaking of that too, I'm going to respond to that in just a second, Andrew. This morning when I posted my new trailer to Instagram, I got a copyright strike right away. There was some, I guess, Bollywood company that thought that the song was theirs, and then I had to send in a response to Instagram to let them know that no, I got the song off of a royalty-free website and had credited the maker of the song in the credits on it. So, it didn't belong to this company. KLKK, I think. I don't know what it was. Anyway, 80s and 90s was your era. I was a little bit later. I was the 90s. I think we're about the same age, Andrew, but I started in the 90s. So, for me, it was Undertaker and Bret Hart were my favorites. And then as I got a little bit older, and he came to the WWF, as it still was at the time, I really got into Chris Jericho. I just thought he was great. I wasn't a WCW guy. And I wasn't an ECW guy. Just WWF until I felt, I don't know, I just eventually got out of it. Kind of like I did with superhero comics. Maybe there's something about me and not liking spandex. I don't know. Not really. It's just an odd coincidence, that one. Right? Unfortunately, Mike, as you're listening, or Michael, I'm sorry. See, I already messed it up. I am not going to be using a pencil today, so you're not going to get to see the sweet. You're not going to get to see. Oh my God, I can't speak. You're not going to get to hear the sweet sounds of my pencil dragging across the paper. But speaking of that, I still want to make a ASMR video. I know that sounds silly, but yeah, the same LOL. I assume you mean Chris Jericho, because or maybe which station, which programs he watched. Superstar Billy Graham. Oh, Rob, I'm gonna sound like an ignorant former wrestling fan, or I'm gonna make you feel old. But I have no idea who Superstar Billy Graham is. I don't. I mean, some of the older wrestlers I know. Superfly Jimmy Snuka, of course, right? And there were some guys that like made their return later, so it was like, guys like Bob Backlund who showed up at one point in the was that Attitude Era or was it pre-Attitude Era? Well, no, he was feuding with Bret Hart, so yeah, it must have been pre-Attitude Era. That's kind of when I got out of it. I wasn't big on The Rock. I wasn't that impressed with Stone Cold Steve Austin. And it just, I don't know. There was the whole, crap all over Canada thing. I mean, I'm not Canadian, but I don't know. Bret Hart went out, not great. I watched for a little while. I mean, Mankind and, of course, The Undertaker together was great. Bob Backlund when he was a good guy. Yeah, that's right. When he was a good guy. Because when he came back later, he turned heel. And was putting everybody in the, oh my God, what was the name of his finisher? I'll see you later, Tim. I'm glad you came by, and I'm glad I got to show off your comic for free to everyone. Get a subscription to A Kid in a Comic. Read Tim Jones. Read his Sour Grapes. It's really good. Or you can follow him on social media and get those posts once a week, I think. Yeah. Same thing with Michael Gracia. He's got his The Wiz comic, which might be, I don't know. Is it? I don't know. It's probably too early to even say for sure, but I think it's coming to a Kitna comic as well. You got all these great people to read. You who don't know me and are watching this YouTube video 7 years later when the algorithm finally puts it in your recommended for some reason, if YouTube even still exists by then. You can track down an old weather-beaten copy from a comic shop, if those even exist by then. I hate to say that. Somewhere, someone will have the newspaper. Damn cat messing me up. Okay. I'm really going to have to make a lot of those lines thicker. What I might do with that first page, though, I scanned the pencils of this, and of course I scanned the inks after the first season is over, and there isn't like a new printing. I may put up the pencil and ink version on my Patreon. Just for anybody that wants to maybe use it for inking practice or something, or also coloring practice. I think that would be nice. I won't do the whole run, just like one page, Not for resale or publication, just for people that want to practice their skills. It's been like weeks since I worked on this piece, and that's because I got to get that variant cover done for Steph and Carrie Ann Wilson for Gobblers, and then I also have to, I had to get the Chadhiyana page done. Yeah, sorry, that ugly inking paper is right there. It's mostly clean on the other side, so no harm to the page, but maybe I should just move it over here. That's a lot more interesting to look at while I'm sitting here playing around. Yeah, I just feel like these lines need to be thicker because lines on the back, not so much. I don't know. When I haven't touched a piece for a while, I start like losing my flow on it. And then it's like, I don't know what I'm doing. But it's okay. Part of my style is having like those multiple lines making up an outline on something. Although I had to tone that down for this. The publisher, John Canacri, he wanted to make me aware, because I haven't worked on newsprint since I was in high school. I haven't had anything printed on newsprint. He wanted to make me aware that, I can't go heavy with the details on a lot of my stuff because, even though it's actually going to print a little bit bigger than this, because I think the, of course, the safe area here is like 10 by 15. So I scaled it up a bit because and actually it's not the same ratio. A little bit of this is going to get cut off on the bottom, but it's, what was I going to say? It's, even though it's going to get blown up a little bit, it doesn't print great. Yeah, the paper is 12. I think the actual paper size is 12 by 18, but the printed area for the like a whole page of printing, the print area without the board, with the borders and everything on it, is only 12 by 16. So when I designed the page, I designed it to both work as a comic page, because eventually, down the line, years down the line, so don't wait this out. I'll probably package and republish them in a collection, because the creators keep the rights to their stuff in A Kid in a Comic. But of course, I'll be giving John and A Kid in a Comic the kind of the first, unofficially, I guess, the first printing rights of it, and I'll certainly credit him later as the first publisher of these stories. I guess if A Kid in a Comic goes long enough and the readership is good and I'm still able to, and John still wants it, I could always do more Chadhiyana stories, but let's not get ahead of ourselves. We're just going to start with the one. But how cool would that be if I had like a whole enough comics to fill a collection of her Kid in a Comic appearances? That would be really cool. No pressure, John. Sometimes he pops in or watches this later, and I don't want him to feel pressure. I'm just happy to be in it for 10 pages. Never mind if I had just been given like 7 in the second season, Yeah, I don't know what I'm doing. Okay, maybe we should just get into some little details in here. Maybe that'll make me happy. And then I can just start getting this to flow a bit. Right. It's mostly what I used on this was 2 zebra pens and my Pentel brush, by the way. If anybody's curious, the very fine lines with a micron. I don't know why I was really loving these graphic ones, but since I've been using the zebra pens so much, these kind of felt brush tip pens, well, I mean, they're hard, but they still have a little give on them. Ever since I started getting into these, because I saw people using them for a couple of years around Artist Alley, and I don't seem to be able to get them at my local Blick. I don't know if Blick carries them at all, so I have to order them on Amazon rather than going to the store to pick up the microns. I just seem to be really into them, and they give the lines a little bit more of a calligraphy look, like you can get more weight with them, but at the same time there's this part of me that really like, I always loved that graphic one. It just has a nice feel to it, Yeah, I kind of want to raise this, but Cirilla was making it very hard when she was up here before. Sorry, guys, I haven't done artwork all day. I worked a 14-hour day yesterday, so, because I was already behind my original deadline for that Chadhiyana comic. It took me a little bit longer than I anticipated to come up with the story that would fit. And then I just had some competition for my time last week, actually. So I wasn't able to get it done. And then the convention. And then, coming back into it. But, just as an aside, and, just to pat myself on the back a little bit, this is the first comic page I've done in like 2 years. I don't think in 2023 I did a single comic page, which is really weird to think since I'm at least partially a comic creator among other things. But I don't think I did a single comic page all year. Although at the beginning of the year, I think is when I was doing my like taking a inventory, so to speak, of like how many comic pages I've done over the course of my life, and I think it was in the close to 500. But yeah, last year I didn't touch a single. Well, not the course of my life. I would say course of my career, right? That's how I should put it. Because it wasn't the whole, not counting when I was a kid and stuff like that. Because, I definitely did stuff then, but that's another thing I kind of want to do. I haven't gotten around to it, but I have a lot of my old comics that I created, like staple bound when I was a teen. And, it's nothing like spectacular. It's not something that I would publish widely, but it is something I thought about uploading on Patreon to those supporters so they could get something exclusive and a little bit different. I had a superhero back then, which I may eventually adapt into a graphic novel. I just would never do an ongoing. Even Chadhiyana has an ending at some point. It's just an opinion that on the writing and storytelling end of things, like, I don't think ongoings work long term. I think they, I was having this debate on the Red and Writ, which is Rafael Tavares's other show besides Bit and Apple TV. I was saying how all those ongoing stories need to be like wrapped up or the torch passed or something for all like the Marvel and DC stuff, which the fans of that stuff find is like a blasphemous statement. But I guess maybe Superman could go on. I don't know if Kryptonians are immortal. I guess they aren't, but I don't know how the sun reacts with them, or they react with the sun, whatever. But yeah, maybe he's the only one. But yeah, just an opinion. My opinion. Erasing and cleaning up. You can't even see all these pencil lines that I'm like getting rid of, but they're bothering me because when a piece sits too long, they tend to get very like, I don't know, just all mucked up, and then it just bothers me. All right. I guess I could ink that background. Everyone's favorite, right? Backgrounds. Yeah. It's better to have a drawing warm up before I go live, but such is not the case today. Right. Believe it or not, I was in a rare turn, I was up until 2 a.m. trying to get that trailer done. And I had set it up before I finished the artwork. Like, I kind of knew the song I was going to use. I had already gotten the text fit out, and I knew that I was going to use images from the comic. I just needed the artwork done to finish it, but then it still took me like 3.5 hours working on that trailer. And that is what I will blame the misspelling of installments on. In fact, it was like 2 o'clock in the morning when I finally wrapped it up. Usually I'm not leaning on this so heavily. Everyone's got so silent in the chat. Sorry, I gotta angle this for a second. Otherwise, I'm not going to get that line right. That's why I turn these things sometimes. I just, sitting position, angle, I don't, there's just certain ways I'm able to do certain lines, and honestly, I'd rather move the paper around. Especially for inking. Painting, I don't care. I can just keep it straight because then it doesn't matter so much. I guess unless I really was leaning heavily into the what kind of marks I was making. I think part of the problem is I didn't use the what was that? Didn't use my mechanical pencil doing this. Would that be right? I think it would actually be about here. Looks better to me. More accurate. Do that again. I don't know why. It's because of the angle. I just if this was closer to me, it might be different, but trying to keep the art in camera while I'm working on it. And that means that I got to keep it a little bit further away from where I usually am. Usually I got it like up here and raised a little bit, but This seems to be working. Oh, excuse me. Better for the camera and the lighting. We're already an hour in. Ooh. How many lines have I gotten down, Sorella, wherever she is? Saboteur. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Actually, that's a big part of. I was talking earlier that I want to make a couple of ASMR videos since people find when I'm drawing pretty relaxing, but just most of it just the pencil and everything, like, close to the speaker there. But I gotta get it where my cat, Cyrilla, is not interrupting it. I'll probably start with a half-hour to 40-minute one, but then I would like to do like a 2-hour session where I'm just sitting here. I guess I would do it while I was working on a comic page, because then I know, like, from the beginning to the end, well, it wouldn't be 2 hours, but at least starting it, I know that I would have enough actual drawing time to fill 2 hours. I mean, technically, you can listen to these live streams sometimes for that, but it would be cool to have like a dedicated. I'm not going to need that tonight. I don't really listen to ASMR videos though. I just know people do, and it's been suggested to me, so maybe there's something to it, I guess. Possibly. There's at least something to people wanting me to do it, because multiple people have brought it up. Mm-hmm. My hands are getting a little too shaky today. All right. It's a part of why my style is the way it is too. Uh-oh. That one's looking a little vague to me. All right, that's clearer now. All right. Biggest thing is not to tense up on those lines. And breathe out. Don't hold your breath. Don't choke your pen or pencil. I remember the one time, I think it was my second or third year teaching, I showed the kids how to draw a straight line. I kind of stopped and I said, "Oh wow, that's pretty straight." And one of the kids was like, "Wow, you're really full of yourself." And I turned to him and I said, "Well, listen, you want to learn from the guy that's worried about how good his art is, or the one that thinks he knows what he's doing?" And it's like, yeah, that's a good point, but that only happens when you're like teaching a class and you gotta like perform at your best, so you can't like think about it. Then when you're home in your studio, you think everything you do is horrible. Oh. I do practice what I preach. I do try to breathe out on those lines so that I don't tense up too much. It's probably one of those carryovers from all the years of studying martial arts, just to kind of like breathe. It's one of those things that always made like stretching and working out, and believe it or not, even getting hit easier is when you breathe. And there are days where I know that I'm tensing up too much, and then what I try to do is take a breath, walk away for a little bit, and come back. I can't do that on a live stream, so it's kind of like doing that teaching thing. You just gotta perform. And when it's quiet like this, sometimes it's a bit unsettling. That's okay. Did I finish the one? It's the worst, man. I gotta fix that arch though. Can't be that low over here if it's that high over there. And this line is going this way. All right, cool. All right, I was just talking to an artist about letting backgrounds tell stories too, although I wouldn't say in this case, it's just kind of like a insert background. But I find when I treat backgrounds like characters that I'm designing, it's been a lot better for me to get interest in them. Now I don't mind working on backgrounds. There are people that hate them. I get it. Part of what helped me get into that mindset, though, believe it or not, was playing those Dark Souls games. I mean, they just really, they do so much environmental storytelling. I started saying, you know what? There is something to this. And I used to do some. I like doing storytelling where there's not a need for words. Like I like doing silent comics and silent comic pages because, again, which lends itself to how I was able to, I guess, do a decent job on that trailer. I majored in computer animation, and one of the principal storytelling things for animation, especially for doing like whatchamacallit, storyboarding, because I had a few classes in that too, of course, is like somebody should be able to understand the story without a single word being spoken, and no inserts of signs or any wording whatsoever. Nothing that the basic story, the basic through line, should just be readable through action and visuals. And I've always kind of carried that over. In fact, I remember watching a Disney movie at my sister-in-law's house, because she's one of those Disney adults. I brought that up before on live streams. And my nieces are young. And I remember my nieces were making too much noise. I couldn't hear it. It might have been when we watched The Princess and the Frog, or it might have been another one. I mean, I heard some of the movie, right? But there was so much of it I didn't hear. But, it was still one of their animated films. I know Disney's a controversial topic these days in their storytelling, but at the time, let's say, they really knew what they were doing, because I knew what was going on without being able to hear it. Now, of course, you want sound and or text to read and stuff like that, or even in a novel, you want dialogue between characters and stuff. It's more entertaining, but it should just kind of fill things in. You should be able to track the action without any additional information thrown into it. Maybe I should do a few videos on writing too at some point, and storytelling. I guess that would be worth it. I say that because, I'm looking to build up the YouTube channel at least a little bit. Besides doing these live streams, and besides doing like a trailer for a Chadhiyana publication. Although I would like to do more book and comic trailers and stuff like that. But yeah. I don't know, that just brought up a thought. I forgot. I tried to run that trailer as an ad, and it got flagged for by Google because you can't run ads for elections. And it's like, I'm not Ron DeSantis, damn it. I'm not running any kind of ad for an election. I think I disputed that claim too, but I don't know if Google reviewed it yet or not. Two claims in one day on two different platforms, both disputed as being inaccurate. Can't lean that far. Okay. This is the most active I've been with the board on a live stream, unless I just was never conscious of it before. But I'm just moving the paper around. The board's getting a lot of movement too. See, it starts to flow faster once I get a little warmed up. Wow, such a quiet chat. I'm just gonna look at this over here. Let's see. Had some familiar faces popping in for at least a minute. That's cool. I can only see the Facebook likes for whatever reason. When these things are running, I can't see. I can see who liked it, but I can't see anything on YouTube other than the comments when they come through. I don't know why that is, though. I'm trying to decide what I want to do right now. I think more erasing is what is in the store for a second. It's just everything got so smudged. I don't know how easy that is to see, but like You can't really. Like, it just gets kind of smudged and dirty when you're working on this anything for a long period of time and the pencils are just sitting there. That's why I like to pencil and ink within a short period of time. And I mean, really, by extension, I really like getting the whole artwork done. I just had a lot of stuff on the table all at once. And then I wind up having to go back over some of these lines because getting the pencil up kind of messes with some of it. Oh, God. It just bothers me visually, you know. Some people clean up at the end, which I usually do, but when the pencils are no longer fresh on the page, it requires me to do some cleanup throughout. Just so I'm not seeing gray smudges all over. Some of that stuff's really in there at this point. Okay, enough of that. Now, if that skirt bottom looks a little familiar, when I was designing Chadhiyana, because obviously this is very clearly, I hope clearly, like an Egyptian scene. But when I was designing Chadhiyana, although I was really looking mostly at Indian and even specifically Hindu inspirations, since she travels around a world that's kind of based on South Asia and the Middle East, and I guess parts of Northern Africa too. And since it's not like history or historical fiction, I wanted her to have at least elements of other cultures in there. So when I was designing her skirt, I did want it to have like a little bit of a callback to like an Egyptian kind of looking thing there, At least for that one element of her clothing. What is this? Oh, hey. I can't answer you right now, Len. Mandanovich is getting those pencils done for Beast number 5. I mean, pencils, no. Oof. If we were on pencils, forget it. No, inks, I mean. sending me a picture by text message. Len, I can't answer you. I'm in a live stream. It'll mess up the video. I can check this stuff. No, but I can't always answer. I think once or twice I tried to answer during a live stream. It's very atypical. Probably doesn't sound so strange, but I had to, even though I didn't catch that typo in the trailer at first, I did still watch that trailer so many times that the song is just like stuck in my head now. I'll probably forget it in a few days. Oh, maybe. Or it'll just be a earworm stuck in my head forever. I'd usually do these at the end, but I don't know. Just kind of moving all over before I make these lines a little nicer, since I'm going to have to do so much erasing to clean up the paper. Otherwise, you know what happens, the pencils start mixing in with the watercolors when I put them down too. And that adds its own little undesired effect to it. Quiet chat. Very quiet. All right. Paper's just got so much smudging on it. Just gonna try to be more careful about it, but I don't think there's any way around it. You know, I get that. I don't. I feel like, I don't know. Digital for a while got me better at taking chances with my art, but I don't know. I don't like working digitally. I know a lot of people do, but that was one of the big reasons, speaking about, I mean, I mentioned it in this live stream, I think twice now. So, but having a background in computer animation, like studying it in school, I did that because I wanted to get into video game development. Even though I really wanted to do the writing and character design stuff, still, I figured I could learn that without having to go to school, and it was a weird decision. I don't know, but anyway, part of the reason I never used a degree in computer animation, besides the fact that I didn't like animating, is I don't like sitting in front of a computer all day. That kills me. I would say, like, here's right, like I'm redoing this panel from Gentleman Cthulhu so that it's bigger for an artwork I can use on greeting cards and as a print, right? But here's an example. Like, I used to do I would do Gentleman Cthulhu by hand. And there were times where I thought, I would be making my life a lot easier if I did it digitally. But what always was the biggest pain for me to do was sit in front of the computer and letter the thing. I would have no problem getting the drawing done, even when I was like late getting it up for a day and I had to get it done quick so that it would go up. That was never the problem. The problem was having to sit down in front of the computer. I just hate that part of it. I used to draw on copy paper and then ink on Bristol through a light box, so I didn't have to do all of the erasing you were doing. I'm only doing it so much because this has been sitting with the cover over it, going in and out of a backpack for a couple of weeks now, and now I've got to retrace a lot of my lines because they got messed up with the eraser. I don't like having a piece of artwork sit that long or move around that much. It's not like it never happens, but I always know when it happens, it's going to be take me twice as long to get it done. I don't mind working on multiple things at the same time because, especially when ink or my watercolors are drying, no big deal. But when it comes to working on a piece, I like to get it done in a reasonably short amount of time, even if I got to travel with it. The less times I got to take it in and out of a bag or in and out of a portfolio or open a pad up and back and forth, is the less smudges I'm going to wind up with on the artwork. I know the light boxing thing is popular, but I've never cared for it. I don't, talking about like use of technology, even like a really low tech kind of thing, like using a light box. I just, if I use a light box to do anything, what I do is there have been times like when I was doing all those headshots, like all those fan art headshots, I made a template and I light boxed the template and then kind of like redrew the template on every piece of paper and then added individual features. But basically, I'll just light box some general lines, but I don't even feel like the pencils look that great that I can follow them properly to ink. Thanks for that, Norton. I'm not doing an update right now, though, so you're going to have to wait. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I know people light box it. And actually, a lot of people use like a cheaper paper for the pencils. Or, they'll do, I guess, two Bristols, because I know there's people that are like, yeah, I'll sell my pencils and I'll sell my inks. There's people that do the light, they'll print it out on Bristol. All those tricks. Not me. Every piece of artwork is like a single piece, I guess. I know that I could be doing myself favors, but I've also gotten so used to the way I work, I don't know that it would actually speed me up any. Just like computer coloring, like, I know that really doesn't go any faster for me. And as far as inking is concerned, whatever unique stuff I do with the ink pen, I can't replicate that on computer, unfortunately. Because there's so many different things I do with my hand and my finger depending on lines, and half of it I'm not even thinking about. And I've never used a stylus or a Wacom tablet or even like an actual screen where I've gotten the same exact look. And I don't think you can. To be perfectly honest, it's just a different tool. I think it has a different look. And this isn't saying anything. This isn't commentary on the type of artwork, but for you, Michael, and people like Tim, that are doing things that are a little bit more clean shape based, I think that you probably don't notice as much of a difference. But since I don't really do a lot of clean line work, it's notable when I do digital to me. Like I don't feel like it has as much range in the character of the lines, which is a big thing, I think that's one of those things that when people call my style unique, I think it's partly because of my line work. And yeah, again, I couldn't replicate it on a computer. So, and even when I'm drawing with a pencil, like I need that feedback, even though a lot of times I'm drawing very light, and sometimes I'll ink very light with the pen I'm working with, or even the brush. I need to feel the grain of the paper. There's just something that I don't know. It's like part of the process for me. And if I'm not feeling that, I don't. This is going to sound so artsy fartsy, but I don't really feel like I'm connecting with the piece that much. When I work digitally, I don't seem to care about it. It doesn't, and it's just me. I'm not saying this about anybody because there's a lot of digital art I love, and I think you do good work, Michael I'm talking to, but generally everyone, right? So, I've always liked digital work, but when I'm doing digital, it just doesn't feel real to me. It just feels like some throwaway thing that doesn't even matter. I don't have any attachment to it. Now, some might argue that's good in the sense that it just, and there is something to that. I think it does free you up, which is why I say working digitally did help me with my traditional, because I learned to take more chances and I learned to, kind of detach to a certain extent. But I feel like I don't care to the point of, it's not even important to me if I'm doing a good job with it, if that makes any sense. Like, that's what I mean by not caring about it. It just feels, for some reason though, design work, which I have gotten into, right? I like doing design work on a computer, but still I do a lot by hand. If it's intricate design, yeah, I like doing it by hand. And then obviously, like, film, like, video, I'm not going to be working with film or whatever, so like the editing that trailer today, or trailer I dropped today, editing it, of course I do that digitally, and that makes sense. But that's like to me, that's different. I don't know. It's a different art form, so I use different tools for that. But I'm the same way with my writing. I write by hand, unless it's a blog piece, because I don't care so much. I'm not writing fiction. I'm just blogging something out. But fiction, I write by hand first, and then when I'm doing the editing, because it allows me to be a little freer with making changes on the fly, then I will edit on the computer, and I enjoy that process. But I don't think I would really enjoy the process of writing on a computer. I think I would get too scattered, first of all. Yeah, I'm going to go over those lines because they may not look like it to you guys, but, well, first of all, I want some of them to be thicker, but for any guys and gals and non-binary people that are watching, I don't, some of the lines have to be thicker, but also, they're too gray to me. And again, that's because of all the erasing I had to do. It took you a long time to get used to it. I prefer traditional myself. Just digital makes my life easier because I have a shaky hand and I don't waste paper and supplies as much. So, yeah, but so there's something interesting, right? You and I went about this differently. Because I agree with you. I don't have a steady hand either. Like, I would have never been a surgeon. I think that's a lot to do with my anxiety, right? Even on the, you can see it better twitching a little bit this way. I don't know when my hand started to twitch, and it always gets worse when I'm really stressed. But, yeah, and even with, like, any medication I take for it, still, it's, like, it's not perfect, right? And it's come a long way, but that's part of why I ink and draw the way I do, with like multiple lines, and I make it a little bit more jaggedy and stuff like that. And I try not to give myself lines like this. There are times when I can do it, right? But it's why I hate inking so clean. It's why I hate painting so precisely and everything. It's just too hard on me. I don't think most days I have a very steady hand. And then, there's a lot of days where, just because of, the other stuff like the anxiety or whatever working against me, like I can't, I need it to be more, I need the lines to be more active, and not so perfect. And it kind of like, I guess what I'm saying is like, so you turned to digital because it can keep the lines cleaner. Like it can do those auto fixes. And, I don't knock anybody for it. I tried to do that with digital, but I still wound up not doing an auto fix, and I draw a line like 6 or 7 times. Actually, I think you do that too, right? You'll keep redrawing lines. I think we spoke about this once. You too, Robert. Have a good night. I'm doing a lot of shows local. I'm going to be in and out of New Jersey a bunch, so it depends. Check out some of my horror shows too. Like I'm doing, if you're into it. Well, I think you are, yeah. But yeah, have a good night, Rob. I'm sure I'll be speaking to you soon. And I'll have I have the info on how to put in the code for the subscription on A Kid in a Comic, so I'll get that out soon too. But yeah, going back to you, Michael, I think, right. So we went a different way. You went digitally because it would help you, of course, like keep your line straighter. Cool, Rob. Have a good night. Because it would help you keep your line straighter. Whereas I tried to make it that my style was not about straight lines and not about clean lines or anything. And I guess that's why the uniqueness of it, again, because people tell me my style's unique. So I guess I hear it enough and then I start to believe it's probably true, maybe. I don't know. Possibly. But yeah, that's why I leaned into just the way I work naturally and tried to make it a feature rather than a problem. But I get it. You're what you're trying to achieve is different than what I am, right? Because you're doing a very like cartoon. I mean, with the Wiz, right? Like you're very much trying to do like a cartoon line. I know when I've seen your work by hand, to me it doesn't look like it's done by a shaky hand. It just looks like the same artist with different materials used. But what's up, lady? You're not going to let me finish the stream, are you? You're not going to let me finish the stream actually drawing. Nope. Cirilla's giving you all kisses, all of you watchers out there. Actually, my eyes are starting to sting. I love looking at sketchy lines. You've always been attracted to clear inks like Mort Walker or Jim Davis ink. Yeah, I get it. Everybody has everybody has their leanings, and that's where it was hard to get a good style because there were things I liked that were clean, and then there was a lot of stuff I liked that had like I always reference, I go back to it. I really liked the Impressionists and post-Impressionist artists when I was first learning like art history in high school. And even German Expressionism has a lot that I like too, which tends to be a little bit cleaner. But like there's nothing clean about Impressionism and post-Impressionism. It's all mark making and stuff like that. And some of the styles don't use line whatsoever because it's just color studies and multiple marks, Not that pointillism is my thing, but that's a perfect example. So, there's a lot of that kind of inspiration in there too. Besides, I also do like clean and very graphic things. Probably why I like Mignola's work so much, even though it kind of like took a while to grow on me. I didn't immediately like it when I was younger and saw it, but and I don't think I lean as hard into my Mignola inspirations anymore as I used to. But I think that's a big reason why I like him, because it does have a graphic quality, right? Because there's just those very stark blacks against areas of white or color in some cases, right? But there's a just this weird like tactile quality to it, because I don't know, there's something raw about it in the sense that a lot of his drawings look like he just took a hammer and a chisel to a piece of stone and just kind of like roughly hammered out like uh, all of the features on like a body and or a head or whatever. So it's not, there's a cleanness to it, but also this weird rawness at the same time. So yeah, I started leaning. Well, here's another example, right? I love, 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 love Drew Struzan's work. Actually, I finally got a hardcover copy of his art book for Christmas, which I was thrilled to get. I probably should have, but I did have a chance to actually meet him and just get a signed copy from him when he was at Fan Expo Boston, and I didn't. And I know he's not doing shows anymore, but missed opportunity. I was walking the floor. His table was pretty empty after hours, and I should have just went up and introduced myself. But every once in a while, I just, not that I get starstruck, but sometimes I just feel like really famous people meet a lot of people, and why do I want to add my faceless, unremarkable interaction to a series of interactions in a whole day? Anyway, I'm getting off topic. Yeah, but Drew Struzan, yeah, I don't know. Can I like show something like that? Yeah, I'm sorry. I got it under a couple of things here, including some prints that I still got to put into a portfolio that Freddie Williams sent me. Well, I bought, but his work, right? There's looking at the sketches, you really get, right? For anybody that doesn't know his work, right? But you can see there's kind of like a combination, right? Like there's that cleanness to it, right? And I love his Indiana Jones stuff too, but I'm trying to find something that people will definitely know. I always feel like there's a cleanness to it because, of course, like it has that that realistic quality, but then there's so much texture in it too at the same time. Like that's another thing that I really like. This Creature from the Black Lagoon piece is awesome. Which reminds me, yeah, like stuff, even just a little, like I like the stuff where it's just like, you get in there and you just see like all those little lines going, that just kind of like make it. And this camera is not picking up enough. The cat's underneath me, isn't it? No? I thought she was. Oh, I see. I hit something there. I can't get it in focus enough that it's going to, But if anybody looks it up, I mean, like even just those lines on the sword gleam and stuff like that, like I love stuff like that. Just those little details that's where my eye goes on a piece. And that's why, it can look, I don't mind if something looks clean when you back away from it, but up close, like, especially, I wanted to have a rawness. And I think there was also a part of the influence on me too, is like when I would draw in my sketchbooks, I always did work I liked, which I know a lot of people say that about their own work, but early on I started wanting to get a very sketchy quality to my stuff where it didn't look, so clean. And I had one or two professors in college too tell me, although I don't practice it as much as I should, I want to take up a new habit of doing drawings from observation. But anyway, I used to get told my gesture drawings were really good when I was in college by a few of my professors. Not always my drawing, because my anatomy really needed work for a long time, even after I was working professionally. But yeah, like my gesture drawings had a good look to them. So there were, there was a certain amount of the unfinished look I wanted to be able to capture in my work too, which is why I'm okay with things being a little raw. I like jagged lines. I like texture, And I can see a beautifully done, like, cleanly inked piece. There's an artist whose work I've really started to like, but I haven't committed her name to memory. But, I guess her work is similar to Adam Hughes, and the cleanliness and kind of like some of it's like, I would say, Art Nouveau influences, right? Yeah, I can look at stuff like that and I love it. I mean, Adam Hughes is one of my favorite artists too. Got to see him again for the first time in person since he gave me a portfolio review. Well, I should say I've seen him in person since he gave me a portfolio review, but it's the first time I got to speak to him. It was very nice. I got to thank him for that because he was one of the first two. It was him and Mark McKenna. Were the first two big names that gave me a portfolio review. And yeah, they were both very nice about giving it to me when they didn't necessarily have the time, but they made the time. Hey, don't chew the charger cord. No, Sorella. Oh, man. Anyway, I wouldn't say that this has been the most productive of my live streams. It feels, somebody can probably say, well, look at all that stuff you got done. I don't feel like I got anything done. I just feel like I retread a lot of work trying to get this in shape again after not having worked on it in a while. And now, yeah, like I'm finally getting warmed up. Part of it is, like I said, I didn't even draw today. I was really tired after the last couple of days. But, I'll finish it up tomorrow. Well, I got stuff up on my Etsy for the Darksome Craft Market. Yeah, I guess I'll end with that. I'm going to be doing my first real, I would say, big online show. I tried 2 online conventions during the during the pandemic, and they didn't work out so well. But I'm going to throw this in the and I'll add a comment on on YouTube when this uploads. But yeah, darksandcraftmarket.com, right? Yeah, I spelled it right. That's going to be this weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So if you go to their page, I am listed under 2 categories. I think like art, prints, and stationery, and the other one is like books and, or maybe books and stationery, and art, prints, and wall art. I think those are the 2 categories. Books and stationery is one. The other one is art, wall art, that sort of thing. But yeah, there's a code there, so you can get 10% off of either my Etsy store. I can't apply it to Redbubble because Redbubble does their own sales, and I can't give it to anybody on what is that? Amazon or Kablam or whatever. But Etsy, yes, and I'll be taking commissions during the weekend too, so you can get 10% off a commission as well using that code. And yeah, check out all the other people. My friend Jill Colbert is on there as well. Manfish Inc. She does some great work. I own 3 of her prints and a couple of stickers. So yeah, check her out as well. She's the one that actually mentioned and encouraged me to do this. So yeah, if you can, shop something of mine over the weekend. It'll help me out, and you got something nice for it. Darks and Craft Market, February 2nd through 4th. And then it's, at this point, all physical shows the rest of the year. I might do 1 or 2 other online markets if this one works out okay. I hear it's good. Anyway, yeah, so I think that's going to do it for this this episode 27 on January 30th. February is right around the corner. And yeah, everyone, I guess that about ends the show. Have a great night. Actually, I'll leave that up with the outro just because we got people can see it as it goes up. But yeah, have a great night. And I'm trying to find all this stuff. There it is. Yeah, I will see you next week, Tuesday, 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. I don't think there's any holidays on Tuesdays this year, so we should be okay. I shouldn't need to take a week off unless I need to, like I did a couple weeks ago. Anyway, yeah. Have a great night, everyone. Check out the market this weekend, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.